when a spotless work record is shattered by a single accusation? Who restores the dignity you spent years earning? What if your cleanest day at work became your darkest? A sealed cash drop goes missing. I swing to one person. Elena's badge, 12 unbroken years, suddenly a target. Rumors sprint through the loading bay, faster than forklifts. The manager orders a locker search, no warrant, plenty of stairs. HR watches, arms folded, payroll freezes her shift. Confess now, the supervisor says, and we'll keep it quiet. Hold on, because the cracks you're about to see run deeper than expected. Dawn at Jackson and Ridge Distribution, outside Cleveland. Elena Mendez scans in at 5:58, like always, steel-toed boots, thermos of coffee, a calendar of overtime. She trains new hires, tracks inventory variances to the ounce. Today, the safe count shows a $4,200 shortfall. Victor Bram, operations supervisor, strides out with 2 leads. Last person near the cage, he asks. A guard points, Elena. The warehouse hum turns strangely watchful. Elena's routine, verify deliveries, sign the cage log, move pallets, becomes a script read backward. An assistant whispers, they checked cameras. Someone else mutters, her cousin works nights, maybe a favor? Bias sticks, Latina, steady, quiet, easy to suspect without blowback. Victor says the logbook shows her initials before the drop. He ignores that it's standard for verifiers. HR Smara hands Elena a paid investigative leave form. Paid? It still sounds like exile. They gather in the break room as Victor outlines company policy. Lockers may be searched, personal bags inspected, phones surrendered voluntarily. Elena's calm voice cracks once, I didn't take anything. Victor nods like he hears rain on glass. A union rep, Dennis, arrives late, scowling. Voluntary means no, he says, planting himself between Elena and the lockers. A guard snaps photos of badge swipes. The room smells like cold coffee and judgment. Victor leans into compliance theater. He prints the loss prevention protocol, reading favorite lines about immediate containment and isolating suspect access. Elena's badge is deactivated pending review. Forklifts beep, orders wait. Dennis demands actual evidence, footage, timestamps, chain of custody. Victor waves him off. We'll resolve this quickly, he says, meaning quietly. HR Smara suggests Elena step outside while we finish. Outside, the Ohio wind carries grit and something meaner, whispers with names attached. Pressure ratchets. Elena calls her partner, Luis, who says, I'm coming. Dennis files a written objection, citing the contract search clause. Victor emails corporate loss prevention, CC's legal, framing Elena as person of interest. A rookie guard reports a side door latch sometimes sticks. Victor shrugs, conveniently uninterested. Elena studies the warehouse windows, reflecting cranes and tacked-on blame, and thinks, I can map every aisle. But not this trap. And then, the knock at the door, froze every breath. Detective Riley, calm, mid-40s, nicks. We're not arresting anyone, she says. We're verifying facts. Victor stiffens, he didn't script the police. Riley asks for full camera pulls, not just Victor's selected clips. She asks Elena for her timeline. Elena delivers it, precisely, intake at 6:10, cage verification at 6:18, lunch at 10:40, forklift assist at 12:05. Riley notices Victor's printed protocol, smirks faintly. Funny thing about policies, they cut both ways. Riley requests the cage key log. There are 3 keys, one signed to Victor, one to Alma, finance, one emergency sealed with tamper tape. The emergency key's tape shows a faint nick, retaped with slightly different opacity. Let's photograph that, Riley says. Dennis exhales for the first time. Elena remembers hearing a click by the cage after lunch. Victor? Riley asks IT for unedited footage, raw timestamps, and audit trails for camera access. The raw footage loads slow, grainy, and honest. At 6:18, Elena verifies counts, never opening the drop. At 12:33, a shadow near the emergency key box. The angel catches a sleeve, navy with a torn cuff. Victor's cuff is immaculate, his assistant marks as frayed. Riley bookmarks the frame. HR Mara, alarmed, asks if this is disciplinary. Riley replies, it's investigatory. Elena's eyes well despite herself. Truth, for once, isn't whispering, it's forming a shape. Mark is called in. He swallows hard, claiming he was checking labels near the key box. Riley compares badge pings. Mark's badge pinged the corridor twice around the time of the shadow. He stammers about delivering toner to Alma. Alma frowns. Toner arrives Thursdays, not today. Victor interrupts, steering questions back to Elena. She initiated the log. Riley says evenly, and you had a key, Mr. Bram. Let's not skip pages. Victor pivots to intimidation. He schedules a mandatory debrief without union counsel, tells Elena noncompliance could be construed as insubordination. Dennis flashes the contract clause again. HR Mara, now cautious, sides with the contract. Victor's jaw tightens. He orders operations to continue, anything to normalize suspicion. But the floor senses a tilt, forklifts idle longer, eyes cut toward management. Riley asks for payroll records for Victor and Mark, checking who closed last night. A quiet, meticulous voice enters. Alma, finance lead, brings a zipped envelope. I thought this was odd, she says. It's last night's soft count notes, handwriting altered mid-page, totals reformatted like someone recalculated after the fact. A smudge of blue tape residue clings to the corner. Alma's records show Victor logged a training close with Mark, despite Mark not being on closeout rotation. Riley's brows rise, the room's axis shifts. The rule he cast on her was now aimed squarely at him. Riley requests Victor's phone, pictures of the emergency key box from last week. He demurs, company device, sensitive messages. Legal advice, limited access. Riley declines to argue, she'll subpoena if needed. She interviews Alma privately. Alma admits Victor pushed 4 faster closes to hit a bonus. Elena, silent beside Dennis, whispers, I balance to pennies, that's the job. Dennis nods toward Riley. She hears it, he says. Keep steady. IT surfaces camera access logs. Last night, at 9:47 p.m., admin credentials exported clips. Shortly after, 2 minutes of hallway footage corrupted. Admin credentials belong to Victor and one other, Security Chief Hal. Riley asks Hal, he swears he was home, offers his phone's location history. Hal's alibi holds. Victor claims he queued an export for audit. Riley notes the precise timing, a little too precise. Elena senses the current finally turning. Mark crumbles first. Under Riley's measured questions, he admits Victor told him to practice lock checks on the emergency key box, in case auditors ask. He retaped the nick like he showed me. He swears he never touched the cash drop. Riley asks why his cuff is torn. He mutters about snagging on the latch. Dennis scribbles dates, times, clauses. Elena's hand stops shaking. The narrative spine is showing, and it isn't hers. Riley reconstructs the window. Soft count ended, Victor remained, Mark lingered, the emergency key tape was compromised and resealed, camera export queued, 2 minutes of hallway lost. She orders a forensic pull from the DVR cache. Hal, now cooperative, helps. HR Mara realizes the company's exposure, wrongful suspension, hostile environment, possible evidence tampering. She asks Elena quietly, what do you need right now? Elena answers, voice low, my name is back. The DVR cache yields what corruption tried to bury, a reflection in the vending machine glass angled down the hall. Victor's silhouette, unmistakable gait, tugs at the key box. He steps aside, Mark's cuff flashes. Victor pockets something small, likely tape. Riley pauses the frame where his face turns just enough. Dennis exhales a single word, "Gotcha." Elena doesn't smile, she simply stands straighter, like a beam reset underweight. Riley calls a full meeting: Victor, Mark, HR, Union, Finance, and Security. She lays out the timeline, plays the vending machine reflection, the shadow sleeve, the bad tape, the falsified training close. Victor tries bravado, then legalese, then grievance. The room stays cold. Riley asks, "Do you want to state anything exculpatory?" Victor says, "You can't prove the cash moved." Riley's reply is iron: "You don't need missing cash to prove a framed suspicion." But hidden in plain sight was the truth no one wanted to see. Hal wheels in the safe drop's tamper bag archive. Alma notes sequential gaps, bag number 1176 missing, yet recorded as sealed. She produces an email: Victor authorized a replacement bag due to tear, unsupported by the incident report. Riley indicates the replacement arrived the next day, after the count. That's the truth in plain sight, paperwork polished to fit a lie. Victor sputters, Mark weeps. Elena keeps breathing, steady, as if counting pallets again. Riley reads the policy Victor brandished: any manager involved in a loss event is immediately recused from investigation. Chain of custody must be independent. He violated both, steering suspicion at the lowest risk target. Corporate legal arrives via video, faces gray as winter. They instruct HR to suspend Victor, protect records, and cooperate with law enforcement. Dennis requests immediate reinstatement for Elena, written apology, back pay, and public correction to the workforce. Mara nods. Corporate's compliance director, stone-voiced, announces Victor's termination pending criminal referral. Mark, facing lesser sanctions, agrees to cooperate fully. HR rescinds Elena's investigative leave, clears her record, authorizes overtime preference for lost hours. Riley slides a final printout: vending machine reflection enhanced, timestamped, authenticated by Hal. Elena's name is nowhere near the theft, only near the work. Dennis reads the last clause aloud, savoring the reversal. And in that instant, the room fell silent, every eye turning to the truth. Apology happens in the only place that matters, on the floor. HR Mara, voice steady over the intercom, states the company wrongly suspected Elena, that evidence showed managerial misconduct. She names the policy reforms: dual custody for keys, third-party video audits, and a strict ban on unilateral debriefs. Riley thanks the crew for patience, nods to Elena. Forklifts resume, but slower, respectful. The hum regains its rhythm, no longer carrying rumor's grit. Elena walks the aisles. People stop her, Alma with teary relief, Hal with a heartfelt handshake, rookies with awkward fist bumps. Dennis jokes, "You owe me a coffee," then more serious, "You kept your center. That saved you." Luis arrives at the gate, wraps her in a relieved embrace. "You told the truth, and it stood up," he says. Elena closes her eyes, lets the warehouse wind pass, clean now. At closing, Elena hangs her badge on a hook for a moment, not surrendering it, honoring it. The metal gleams under the break room light, beside a new placard: "Dignity is a safety standard." She reclips the badge, shoulders square, and heads back to count. The lesson lands clear: power that shortcuts fairness ends up cutting itself. If stories like this resonate with you, subscribe now. Because here, we uncover truth, deliver justice, and share lessons worth remembering.